I want to meet that woman. No. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to Tell the Damn Story, the show that celebrates the trials and tribulations, the successes and failures of the writing journey in hopes of making your writing journey easier. I'm Chris Ryan, award-winning hybrid writer, and he's Avid Simpkins, award-winning writer of classic characters like Sherlock Holmes, Scooby-Doo, Archie, Batman, and his own 1930s soldier of fortune, Aaron Blackjack Day. And today, we have special guests, and what are we going to be discussing with our great friends?
We have special guests, great friends, Tom Sniegoski and Jeannine Acheson. Yay! Holy smoke, Batman. Okay. And listeners, you're in for a great one this time because, one, they're going to be revealing some phenomenal news about a project they have been sitting on. They've had to take the code of silence for over a year on this. And now here on Tell the Damn Story, they're going to reveal all to us. So stay tuned for that. And then we're going to talk about something that they have a great deal of experience with, especially the T-Man, because he's been around longer than Jeannine, developing and pitching a comic book series and graphic novels, how to do that, how to get the most out of it, how to deal with that sort of thing. And then the third thing you're going to get, because we are just piling on the good stuff, is they're going to reveal 2 fantastic projects that are coming up soon this year. Towards the end, it's going to be great. 2 new projects that they've been developing and working on, and is ready to go. So stay tuned.
Now, we haven't mentioned them before, but we're going to give updates on those two.
So major updates, big updates. It's going to be huge dates, like figs and date. We're going to, anyway, yes.
Okay. So
hello, Tom, Jeannine, how are you?
We're fine. We feel like just like letting you guys keep talking.
No, you don't get to play audience.
That whole beginning used to take a lot longer. So
that's what happens when you have enough coffee. No.
There you go. So I'm not sure if we can handle the suspense much longer. Actually, I had seen just a little peek about this on, I think it was Facebook. And then in the thread, Tom said, we got to come on and talk about it. We couldn't wait.
Wasn't he stalking you? Wasn't he hanging outside your house at night?
No, that's beside the point.
Chris!
And the cops let me go if I promised never to go on Tom's block again. But other than that, so tell us about you two getting soul. What's going on here?
Oh, you want to start?
Yeah, we start.
Actually, what would be cool is the fact that this series started with a germ of an idea from Mrs. Acheson here.
Oh,
well, golly gee, Mrs. Acheson, tell us all about it.
And what's funny about it is in the early days of her deciding to do, that's how long this thing has been in some semblance of evolution. Is that it's from an idea? That's like how long ago? That's almost
it was about
2 years.
4 years ago.
Was that long ago?
It was, because it was in January after you had come to talk to my students in class. And one day Tom and I were texting. It was a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon. And I said to him, how's your mom? Because he used to go visit his mom on Saturday afternoons. And he said, she's still old. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if she went there? She's 95. She's 95. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if the next time you went there, she was like 10 years younger? And then every time you went, she would just get younger and younger and younger. And that's where the idea was planted. The seed was planted. And a while after that, he came to me and he said, what if this is this character? And I don't want to give anything away.
Her concept was almost like, this might be a good idea for a short story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're thinking way too small.
Yeah.
But by the way, folks, just to quickly, for those of you who've never, ever listened to the show before, and what's wrong with you, and who's never seen an episode with Tom and Jeannine on it, Tom has been a writer for many years and has written comics, graphic novels, you name it. Tom is just a few years ago, and I think I'm hearing 4 years ago, his friend, longtime friend, Jeannine, and he started to work together, and he actually pulled her kicking and screaming into the writing world. this is a partnership that's now only about 4 years old, right?
It's been about a little over 4.
A little over 4,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's why it's particularly special that she had this little conversation with you, this little germ of an idea pop, and now you guys did something with it. So what happened?
Yeah. So we kept on talking about it. And then over the next summer, I think COVID was about over, and we started meeting at a coffee shop just to write and to talk, and for him to look at the things that I had written while we had been apart. And he would give me feedback, and I'd go back and work on things again. And we started to write ideas down about this character, about how she lived and where she was from, how she gets younger, how she does she have enemies? How does she live in the current world? How old is she really? And before we knew it, we had this document of information about this character and about her enemies. And then we just thought I thought it was going to be a short story. And he was like, no, this is going to be like a multi-arc comic.
Yeah, the character was becoming more and more fascinating. The more we talked about it, the more layering kept going. I'm like, this is way too big for just a short story. The characters, the potential for the character is so much bigger than just a short story. So I started to steer her thought process into that direction.
So let's play timeline for a minute. About 4 years ago, you say that line and it becomes and then how many years does it just develop in increments until Jeannine, you say, I think it's a short story, and Tom says, it's a comic, you're bigger.
That was pretty instantaneously. Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Was it like the same conversation or a couple of weeks later? Or
it kept on coming up.
Yeah.
Every time.
One idea is good when it doesn't go away.
Yeah. When it insists on your attention, you have something. Yeah.
And so, I had actually written a scene where a son goes to visit his elderly mother, and he just notices that all of a sudden she's
less elderly.
Yeah, and she's like spry, and she doesn't groan when she gets up or sits down. And I wrote this little scene out, and it was fine, and it was in my journal, and I forgot about it. And then it's changed since then, but it just took on a life of its own.
I looked at what she wrote, and said, Balderdash! Yeah. we can do better.
Wasn't that a Viking character, Balderdash?
So, yeah.
Tom Sniegoski, the Silas Barnaby of this partnership.
I think the funniest thing was when we first decided that, all right, we're going to do this as a comic. Let's plot out what the comic would be.
Right.
And she didn't know what she's still new to the whole funny book business.
But that's still around 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's about probably 3.
3?
Yeah,
okay.
3. Yeah. We sat on it for quite a while.
Yeah, because we were just always talking about it in some way. And then I finally decided to get off the pot and let's get something down. And since she doesn't know enough about how, like, normally I would sit down, grab a piece of paper and just start scribbling notes.
Yeah.
You can't do that with her because
there was too much information for me to make sense of it in a linear kind of thing, like a list kind of thing.
Right.
So I went back to my old teaching days when I would be planning a unit. And now, of course, the term escapes me. But you've got like your central idea and your theme in the middle, and you've got like all the bubbles. So like just like a splash page.
Oh, Alex does that.
Ideas. And that's how we ended up plotting it out with giant like butcher paper hung up in the living room.
This was in my
living
room, hanging by tape. It was like one of the funniest pictures. I got it somewhere in my phone. I should try to find it. It's just, it looks like somebody just papered the living room.
Yeah. With butcher paper.
And it's all like lists and lines with lines that go off of to other lists.
Yeah. Because I couldn't just look at a list of things because it was much information. I had to be able to see it. You know how like on CSI or whatever, they have the big board?
And you
Like,
have all the threads and you're like, it's all
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah, because I needed to see everything. I needed to be able to very quickly go from, okay, that happens in issue 6. It goes back to what happened in issue 2. And I needed to be able to see everything at a glance. I wasn't
That's
like,
amazing.
I couldn't flip through because it would just make me confused.
So you storyboarded more or less.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
normally,
And what did you write each thing on? Alex knows where I'm going with this.
Yep, I do.
I have some in my hand right now, but
it was actually just big pieces
Yeah,
of
butcher
like
paper.
butcher paper. That
okay, and you would just scroll all over.
Yeah.
Now
So-
that's
so we could tack it up and step back
right.
in the living room.
That's
and stand
great.
there and look at
Alex does that with the lines. I'm a big index card guy. I would
Yeah.
put each idea and then I would put it. I always have to get a bigger and bigger table, but it's the same
Yeah,
idea.
kind of
It
shuffle
doesn't really
around.
matter how you get there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you have to make a mess, right?
Yeah.
And it was a huge mess. And then by the time we had found a home for it at Mad Cave Studios, we love them. Our editor had said to us, I can say this, right?
Yeah.
Our editor had said to us, I want to change things around. I want to focus on this more than that. And so we had to revise the whole first arc of the story, all 6 issues. But I think by that time I was a little bit better. And by that time we just did it on the computer and it was just a list.
And I also could kind of go, you there, calm down, deep breaths. We'll take care of this.
That's we
Yeah.
love it. We love it. It's perfect. Now we want this to change completely.
But you know what? That's the nature of working with an editor.
Yeah.
It's very rarely that you get somebody that said, perfect. We love it the way it is.
Yeah.
Now,
No, they tend to say that and then say, but what if,
but
or
what
we'd
if?
like to.
Yeah. Would you mind if?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Blackjack, this we love it. We love him in the past. We love all this, but could he be played by a woman in present day?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to digress here for 1 second because it's like one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. Chris Golden was in Hollywood, my good friend Chris Golden.
Sure.
He was pitching a novel that he'd written called The Boys Are Back in Town, which is a supernatural time travel story. So I don't even know what studio he was at, probably Paramount or something like that. And he's in a room and he's pitching the idea. The book is out, the book is selling well. And everybody in the room is like giving him we love this. And they've just been kissing his ass. Oh, we love your work. Oh, we can't wait to hear what you have to do. We love your work. So he goes through the whole thing. Everybody's nodding and scratching their heads and they're all excited. And he gets to the end of the meeting and I think he said it was a woman said, we love this. We would love to be in the Chris Golden business. Love it. But could we one thing, and Chris is like one of the most amazing thinkers on his feet that I've ever seen. He can come up with a way to give you what you want without screwing up what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got one thing. Could you take out the time travel?
Time travel is expensive. It's
But
a time travel story.
But that's the whole book.
Yeah.
The whole book is that. That's the book. And he said he was speechless. He couldn't even answer them.
Oh, really? Because you're wondering, what pitch were you guys at?
Yeah. Alex, are you gonna share your
No,
lecture?
I don't want to digress too much. I'll simply say that I've been down the same trail.
Yeah.
And in particular, the favorite thing for years that a lot of the producers would ask if they could remove is the fact that the character is in the past. I said, the fact that there's a black man accomplishing these things in the 1930s is the hook. Oh, you have to find another hook. No, then you have Shaft.
Yeah, then you have something else.
You have every other black exploitation or adventure shoot 'em up that you already got. This one is different because of this and this. Yeah, we know we love it. It's great. It's just that
we're thinking 1983.
It's
like
the past is
1983.
expensive. I said, okay, I guess we can't do it. Period. So anyway, but I don't want to get too far off.
Oh,
But
so
you mentioned the name of a company. And then you said editor, and we went into the editor story. So wait a minute, how did it go from you two batting it back and forth to a company.
Mad Cave, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, was Mad Cave the only? I don't know. We should ask that.
No, it was before that. Yeah, inker. He was an inker, but he's also an editor. He'd gone from inking to editing at a couple of publishing houses as well as comics. His name was Mark Irwin. Terrific guy, really nice guy. Started working at this new company called Mad Cave Studios. And I said, hey, Mark's got a new job. Let me congratulate him on his new job, and happened to drop a bomb and said, hey, any interest in seeing any ideas from me? My writing partner and I have a couple of things. And he was like, we'd love to see it. Send it over. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Like it took a little while, but
yeah,
wasn't right away.
No, it took a few months. From the time we first chatted with him until we like signed contracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It probably took months, 9 months.
Maybe.
It was a while. It seemed like a really long time.
But that's not unusual.
Yeah, no.
That's not unusual.
Can you give us a little behind the curtain there? What happens during those 9 months? We know
you wait
pregnancy's about 9 months. What was there going back and forth? Was it he tweak this? Was it
nope. It was basically waiting to hear about whether we want to do it or not.
Okay.
So it was like, because he had to have it approved by all the higher ups in the company and stuff like that. Yeah.
Did you work on a plan B while that was going on, or were you just satisfied with we got a lot of other stuff to do?
We'll in terms of who else we might show it to?
Yeah.
I think we had a plan B in that if Mad Cave didn't want it, that we would probably just try a few other avenues, like other publishers that Tom has worked with.
So let me step back to move forward. Jeannine, was this your first pitch?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think for your own project it was. Yes.
Right. So this is an interesting opportunity because Tom has done probably hundreds, if not thousands of pitches, and this is your first one. So what was the preparation like? And we'll start with Jeannine and then go to Tom.
Actually, we did all of it by email.
Oh, that's today, yeah.
I don't know that we ever met like on Zoom with Mark or anything.
Her eyes got huge.
When we pitched it to him? Yeah, that was all emails.
Yeah.
And then
all right. So you have to put together something to send.
Oh, the actual pitch.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that because there's some people who are watching with bated breath saying, how do you do that? What's the secret? One, people tend to say, okay, I'm going to tell them, and then it's a 20-page document. That's usually a mistake, right? What did you do?
So Tom had met up with an artist from England or on Facebook. He met him and thought he'd be perfect for this comic. Just his art style was really something that is amazing. And we wrote up a 12-page like preview of it. It's like the character then and the character now. So it's like a lot of flashbacks.
Can I interrupt
for
1 second? Ahead. The reason a lot of the times I will do that to show a publisher what the book will look like.
Okay.
So I give them a little like 8-pager, 12-pager to almost like, this is what the art style would look like. This is how the story would read.
Give them a little tape.
So to be clear, you're talking about 8 comic book pages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But also there's a lot more that goes with the proposal.
Of course.
There's like a plot in a synopsis.
So let's play with the 8-page teaser.
Yeah.
You sent this artist from England a script?
Yeah. We sent him the scripts. He drew everything out, and then we had a document that was all scanned pages. It wasn't lettered, but we had the script. Right. And I think that, along with like character descriptions and I think a synopsis of the whole thing. Plus, we had the first story arc, I think.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, we had like a breakdown of this first story arc and the character bios.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a nice little package. By looking at this package, you had a real sense of what this series was about.
Can I dive a little more granular for a second?
Sure.
A couple of questions. One, did you two pay the artist, or was that part of some kind of other arrangement?
He did.
I mean, I'm one of those sticklers that I hate to see anybody doing work and not being paid for it.
Sure.
So I basically said to this guy, we're going to give you a script to help sell this thing, but we want to pay you for the work.
Your art. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got that.
Did he do pencils, inks, and colors, or just pencils, or?
He did pencils and inks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then character bios. Let's talk for just a couple of seconds. What's a character bio look like?
It's a description of the character, their age, their names, and ours was accompanied by different sketches of the character throughout the different ages.
Right.
This character happens to had
She's
been around
really
for
old.
a very long time, so she had different looks for different time.
Okay.
And secondary characters have who they are, what their relationship is to the main character, pictures of them throughout different ages. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And then
like information sheets, like bios.
so that we're talking probably a paragraph for secondary characters, maybe a little more for the main, right?
Right.
And then the word all writers love, synopsis.
Oh, I hate.
Oh, what a joy!
I hate them.
But let's talk about that particular necessary evil. A lot of people will read some kind of how to write and they'll get an idea, but what's the pro and con of the synopsis? You've worked out you did a whole wall of ideas, and then you have to type it into just like a little elevator pitch of the whole story.
Yeah. The con is I have to do it.
Yeah.
And I despise them. I absolutely despise them because I'm a little bit wordy. So to have to take this grandiose idea and boil it down to 3 paragraphs, and that is tough.
Yeah.
Because you always feel like you're leaving out like the cool
juice,
the
heart,
shit.
the soul. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm leaving out all the cool shit. I'm just giving you like little snippets of nothing.
So let's think, just so they have some perspective, 3 paragraphs representing how many issues in your mind?
6.
Yeah, it was 6.
6.
Like,
think about that. Oh man,
this is just the first arc. There's another.
That's like having to write haikus about you. About your story ideas.
Ultimately, it serves a purpose. I understand, Tom, you're not wanting to or enjoying doing it for sure.
No, I hate it.
But it serves a purpose, and it's really, in some ways, no different than a movie trailer. You got an 85-minute to 2.5-hour film, and you want people to come and put their butts in the seats or stream it or whatever. So you come up with a 60-second, 90-second representation of it. You put in you pull out some of the cool stuff. Right. And you put it out there in front of them and hope that it works. But yeah, it's a challenge.
Just to be clear for viewers, it does have to include the ending.
Yes.
So the people who are buying it want to know what they're buying, what happens, right? So that whole package in an email would be a couple of attachments, or does it all come as one attachment?
Put it all in one, and it was probably
PDF,
6 pages at most. But not even, probably 4 pages or 5 pages, and then the 12-page
script.
Yeah.
So we sent the script and we sent the artwork to go with the.
So in all, you're talking about 18 to 20 pages total with story pages, with the art pages.
Yeah. Which is a little bit more than a lot of the times what they're looking for. But I think in this particular case, since we had art, it's a comic, might as well show.
Yeah. Okay.
It sounded like you wanted to nail the pitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this seems to have worked because Mad Cave eventually said yes.
Yes.
What was that process like? Once they said yes and you guys stopped pouring champagne all over each other, where did you go from there?
I think we started thinking about scheduling, and we had to meet with our assigned editor and stuff like that. And then we worked on a
schedule with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we started writing.
Okay, we tend to talk primarily about the creative process, but I often say to my students, in this case or in certain cases, art is also a business. So ultimately, and I don't want you to divulge, and I know you won't divulge any specifics.
Yeah.
But there was a period of negotiation.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And do you feel satisfied with the negotiations? And is there, I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this. Is this now a work for hire, or do you still have some control over it?
So when we negotiated our contract with Mad Cave, this came on as a creator-owned project because it's our idea.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, it's like business is business. And it's sometimes, especially I think for me, it was a little bit hard to step back and go, sometimes it was like, I don't like our project. What is this? Because if we couldn't come to an agreement on like certain terms for, I don't know, licensing or for projects if they get sold to Hollywood or whatever. But at the end of the day, the contract that we have with them, I'm like thrilled with.
It's a pretty nice, as far as creator-owned contracts go. I've seen many creator-owned contracts. It's a pretty good contract.
Yeah, they're very
creator friendly.
Yeah,
Good,
and
okay.
they're generous, and they're really great to work with. Like everybody there, from our editor, from Mark Irwin, from Mark London, who we met at
Who's the president?
San Diego, who's the president of the company. They're like, they love comics, and they love books, and that's what they want to do.
I will tell you one quick thing. They are involved in the reprints in America now for Asterix.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
So
And the Smurfs.
I know they love comics. Yeah.
And the Smurfs too. They got the Smurfs.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
they bought.
right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They bought paper cuts.
Yeah. See, I wasn't going to say that, but yes, they did. You heard it here first, folks. Right. Okay. So, Tom, again, hey, Jeannine and Tom, thank you for sharing that much, because we do find it necessary to help people remember that, yes, you're doing it for the muses and all that kind of stuff. But if you're actually trying to make a living at this, or you're actually trying to go to work for major companies or even small indies, there is that point of where it's business, and you have to address that. Chris has had numerous experiences with this on multiple levels.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, but there's really no way around it.
No, there isn't. A business is a business.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when is this? When do we get to see this now? They didn't bring, by the way, the 12 pages for us to see, so I just thought I'd mention that right now.
This comes out. It'll be in the next preview book, and then it comes out July 3rd, I think.
Oh, is it that cool?
Or the 5th.
July 3rd of
2024
coming up.
Yeah.
This July.
Yeah.
Nice.
We can, you know what? We can send you the first issue if you want to see the first issue.
What do you mean I want to see? Of course we want to see
do.
the first issue. Yes, please.
That would be cool.
Hook a brother up. Hook a brother up.
And then it's monthly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So this is summer fun, is what we're talking about.
The most frustrating thing about this, the first 6 issues are just the first half of the story. So we want this to sell, so we can finish, basically finish up the arc of the characters.
Folks, go out there and buy 2-3 copies of this, right? Of each issue. Give them to your friends, then talk them into going out and buying 2 and 3 copies.
I really, and this, by way of saying this, I want you to I'm trying to get you to expand a little bit. But we're talking about, both of you have had this experience. I know Alex has, and I have had, with care for elder parents. And this idea of every time the visit happens, the parent is younger. I think that's fascinating. However, the name of the comic is Soultaker.
Yeah.
So can we explain what those 2 words have to do with this character who is getting younger?
Whereas, all right, when Jeannine first had the concept, it came from the statement that I made about my mother still being old. So and her building on that was like that it was my mother who was getting young. What we decided to do was to take the idea of an elderly person growing younger. And so when we had that, I was like, all right, why would this person be getting younger? So you start there and you start to move back. And basically what we've created is a character who is a subspecies of the human race who feeds off the life energies of.
Wow.
So it's basically a vampire. It's a vampire story without it really being
a soul vampire.
Yeah. So like taking their life energies. Now, not necessarily taking their soul, they wouldn't even probably know, a person probably wouldn't even notice they were being fed on.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, a gentle pat on the back would be enough to give her breakfast, that type of thing. Yeah. So,
and she's easing them across
right,
the Great Divide, as it were.
and also she herself is not necessarily elderly.
She's elderly.
Living in an elderly community.
Yeah.
So you don't notice this. This is how she survived. So, and we get a sense of where she's been and like her past and her people. Right.
And are we saying she's a hero, an anti-hero, a monster? Honestly, what are you saying?
I think your first view of her is, oh, I'm not sure about her, but then you meet people that are worse. Yeah. And you start to realize that she ain't so bad.
Okay, that's fun. That's really fun.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I would say one of the most curious arguments within a vampire story that I've ever heard for the preservation of that species is that we didn't choose to be what we are, but we have to live. You know, and it was like, ooh, damn, now I got to think of them as, okay, I mean, oh, yeah.
Yeah, they become relatively sympathetic to that. Yeah. In all honesty, how we portray her, she's really not looking to harm anybody. She's just feeding.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's another group's vision of what she's doing as an evil act that causes the problems in the story. We have a division of the Catholic Church called
oh, we're back there again, are we, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't not be there.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, folks, listen to one of the other episodes with these.
Read 90% of my work. Yeah, we have a group called the Venatori.
Yeah.
That's a division of the Catholic Church that basically wanted to wipe out like the vermin, the things that live in the dark. We don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's fascinating.
So now I know, Chris, did you have another question? Because I was just looking at the time and I want to get to our third portion here.
Let's get to our third portion.
Oh, so here we go with the third portion. Would you like dessert? Okay. So you've got this wonderful, thank you, by the way, for bringing the news to us. That's great. And you people out there, let's hear cheers and applause.
And comic book fans will be able to order Soultaker next month. You get the previews, you go to your comic book shop, say, I want Soultaker. From Mad Cave Studios. And if you like hearing that, smash that like and subscribe. And we'll keep reminding you.
But now you two, because you guys are just moving and shaking like crazy because you've got something else coming out.
Just the month before.
Yeah.
We have the new Dark Reflections.
Reflections from Dynamite Entertainment.
Preview book.
That's in the current preview book right now. Yeah.
So people can order that right now.
Yes.
Vampirella, Dark Reflections.
Can you give us a little elevator pitch for Vampirella, Dark Reflections, and then I'm going to follow it up with a process question.
Okay. Vampirella, Dark Reflections is the story of Lilith, a daughter of Vampirella, who is a member of the Reality Corps. And this kind of spins out of the Vampyverse miniseries that we did a couple of years ago. And Lilith goes to a world on her first mission. And she goes to a world where there's a Vampirella who's in trouble. And we meet a different kind of Vampirella in that world who Lilith has to help.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty much. That's we could get far more complicated than that, but
no, that's just a teaser.
That's fine.
The only thing missing was fight dark forces. Okay, all right, there we go.
They all do.
Yeah.
So,
it's comics, Alex.
Yeah,
they're always fighting the dark forces.
That's right. So
David Dark Forces, great kid. Yeah, okay.
So let's talk about Vampirella, Dark Reflection, and Soultaker. Give people another peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
A less experienced person might say, "Wait a second. That's coming out in June, and then Soultaker is coming out in July. Oh my God, how are they juggling all this?" So please explain the actual mechanics.
It's all about the due date.
Yep, it's all about the due date.
We were actually writing the scripts concurrently. We were writing them both at the same time. So we would have a due date for Soultaker, and we would focus on that. We'd get that one out the door, and then the day after that one went to our editor at Mad Cave, we'd start on Vampirella Dark Reflections, and we'd get that out to our editor. And we did that. We juggled the two of them back and forth for about, I think, 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Because there's only 5 issues of Vampirella, 6 issues, but I think we started Soultaker first. So we were about maybe 2 issues into Soultaker before we started Vampirella.
And it's just all about the deadlines. And one of the great hazards, especially of younger writers or newer writers, is that they're working on an idea and then squirrel. Right? It's like, oh, but I have this great idea for
that never goes away.
So
that never goes
away. So how about a little bit of advice on how to handle that? All right, if you're focusing on one thing and you take it, I know what the answer is, but let's see if it matches up with you. What do you do if you got a great idea for Soultaker while you're focusing on Vampy?
Want to take that? Want to take this, or you want to take it?
My answer.
All right. You'll get the novice answer and the old time answer. The old time answer is finish what you're friggin' working on right now. Finish it.
Yeah.
If it's killing you with this new wonderful idea, take some notes.
Yeah.
But then push that aside and finish what you said you were going to finish. When you don't finish things, that's the kiss of death.
That was my answer.
That's the kiss of death. Don't
backslap of death.
I would say, if you have that new idea and it's really insistent, take the notes and then go back to finish what you.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But definitely satisfy that aspect of the muse that has that new fabulous idea.
That's very fun.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. So satisfy it with some notes so you know it's not going away. You got enough down there so you're not going to lose it.
Yeah. And most of the time when the new idea comes on, it's while you're doing something else, right? Not when the two of you are on talking about and playing on Vampire. You might be
washing dishes.
Washing dishes, or
Tom's got a dog.
And that's just a quick note. That's why I always carry index cards. Or there's that great pad in here. You write it down, but again, you do the job that's ahead of you. Yeah, he does voice, but man, trying to get my accent to translate into written words is hilarious. I put in one story idea and a completely different story idea will transcribe.
But what a great idea!
I know, right?
You had 2 good ideas.
A lot of D's in there, no T's, a lot of D's.
So the other project that you were going to mention is we got
very exciting project, Alex.
We got Soultaker, we got Vampirella, and then we get the big one.
Here it comes, folks. Here's the thing. You stayed this long. Thank you.
We talked about it a little bit in the last time we were on the show. Is the novella Nira from
Bad Handbooks.
Bad Handbooks.
Bad Handbooks. Very cool company, man.
Yeah, they're
awesome.
Yeah, they're super cool. But that's so funny because it's so different from comics. You hear those gears changing when you have to start doing the prose.
You're talking about, that's exactly what I was going to say. So you're not talking about scripting now a comic book with visuals and dialogue and caption boxes. Now you're talking about prose writing a la a novel or short story kind of format. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, this is a novella.
And what's the difference between a novella and a novel?
A novella is just shorter.
Yeah, it's a short novel.
Yeah. About maybe 140 pages max.
Yeah. So to be helpful, they'll say word breakdown. Microfiction goes from 5 to 300 words. Flash fiction under 1,500 words, usually around 700. Short stories 1,000 to 7,500 words. Novelette 7,500 and 19,000 words. Novella 17,500 to 40,000.
Yep.
Does that sound right to you?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So that's been a real.
Yeah.
I'm a little rusty in my
prose writing.
Just because of the fact that for some reason during COVID, comics just took off again for me, and I found myself just doing comics all the time. So it was like
there seemed to be an interesting phenomena in COVID where people wanted story more. They needed story. but their attention span, for a lot of them, attention span was more of a struggle than it used to be. And comics really helped because you had the visual and less words and this and that. And then short stories and anthologies blew up for a little while, and binging on TV rather than watching longer and longer movies. It was fascinating I don't know why that was a side effect of COVID, but yeah.
I would speculate that you had a lot on your mind.
Yeah, everybody did. Everybody did.
Great deal of stuff.
I find or found that during COVID, and actually it's carried over now.
Yeah.
I can't pay attention to anything. Like people can, oh, did you watch this? Did you binge this? Did you watch this? And I'm like, no. I was using up everything I had during the day on my comic stuff or book ideas or whatever. And by the time it was time to sit down in front of the television set and watch something, I had no attention. I couldn't pay attention to anything.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit better now, but I'm not anywhere where I used to be.
Tom, you've been talking to us for a whole hour.
That's right, buddy. Look at you. We're so proud. And that was Tom. Now it's the Jeannine show.
It's the Jeannine Acheson song. Da, 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 da.
That would be a much nicer show.
There you go.
Well, maybe.
Well,
so let's remind people about Nira.
Yeah.
Okay, who is she, and why are people
Nira
going to want to read this novella?
Nira is a prime example of one of those things of Jeannine and I sitting around saying, if we were going to do a novella, what kind of story would we tell? And it just, like little germs of other ideas that were floating around in the ether kind of got plucked down out of, if we did this, we could connect that to this. And then it was like Legos. The idea was like pieces of all kinds of like other ideas for stories.
Yeah.
All came together and made this one character.
So what's the elevator pitch for Nira?
Nira is about a woman who was the shaman of an ancient race that existed before mankind. So there was another time period before human civilization, which was another race of, I don't know if they were human, but they just were before us. And she was their great mystical person who helped them deal with supernatural threats or whatever, and was very cocky and thought that she could handle just about anything until she screwed up big time and basically ended that whole time period of history.
Oh,
oops.
Yeah. Whoops. Whoops. She is the last of a race that existed millions and millions of years ago and is trying to correct a massive problem that exists on our world now, which is basically the new civilization got infected.
Okay.
By the evil that she tried to destroy ended up destroying everything, but it's still around. It's basically fragments of it infected the world. She's like, all right, since I'm the last one and I'm responsible for all this crap,
I got to clean it up.
I got to clean it up. I got to take care of it. I got a guilty, and she's haunted by all the ghosts of everybody that she knew.
Wow.
They hang around her all the time, she lives in this great big old Victorian that kind of just moves around wherever she needs to be. It just kind of pop up in a neighborhood. Like, I don't remember seeing that house there. Yeah. And
excellent.
She lives in the house is like endless, very like an Escher painting.
Sure. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and
that's wild.
And she's cranky.
I would be too if I'd been around for eons and I blew it.
Yeah, she ain't too pleasant.
I'm constantly being, I know I did it. Okay,
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Did
you ever make a mistake?
And she has a little companion. Yeah. That is an animal. It's like a cross between a fox and a crow or raven.
A familiar of some sort?
Yeah, but it's the last animal from that world.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it reminds her all the time of, you really screwed up. Boy, did you screw up. Man, you're a mess.
By the way, did I mention that you screwed up?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Thursday. Time to tell you how much you screwed up.
So 2 quick questions. One, again, we're going to go just one more time behind the curtain. There you are, either zooming each other or talking face to face. And somehow that idea came up that she had completely screwed up and basically ended her reality.
Yeah.
Can we take that moment? Who took it from this girl? She was doing this. She's cranky. Oh wait, she destroyed her civilization. That was him?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay, so then the question becomes, Jeannine, what did you say?
I took the notes, yeah. I took the notes.
You took the notes. But when you first heard that, because that at that moment you're elevating the story dramatically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it creates a whole.
It takes it to another level.
Takes it to another level, and man, I love that stuff. I love characters who are just a mess. I love characters that are just feel so bad about something.
Yeah.
So was it easy to get to yes on that one, Jeannine?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, because you just clicked in the story potential.
Yeah.
Yes from you?
Yes, from me. Yeah.
And that's why it excites Tom as well, right? That there's so much you can do with a mess.
Yeah. Well.
Right?
How did you get that from this wonderful idea to a publisher?
So this time, a different artist contacted Tom. It was his name is Tom Brown, and he also lives in England. And I know, right? And Tom and he had worked on Raven's Child together.
There's a book called The Raven's Child.
It was a graphic novel.
Yeah.
And they were talking, and Tom Brown contacted Tom and said, hey, I'm working with this new publisher. He's in the US and he's looking for stories for anthologies. He's looking for novellas. He's looking for pretty much anything. And it was right down his alley, our alley. And he said, oh, great. I have a writing partner. Can she do something with us too? And he was like, sure. And so we went into our little, we had a Google Doc where we keep all of our ideas, or kept all of our ideas. I think I deleted it, but anyway.
Oh no!
We don't even want to. And that
even.
There were literally probably hundreds of ideas on this.
There was, I think our latest count was like 40 something ideas.
She doesn't know what she did. I don't have any idea what she did because I don't know what the hell Google Docs. I don't know anything about that crap. That's her thing.
Yeah, you want to talk about guilt and
there's a dramatic moment.
It was.
Tom, I have to tell you something. Is that how that happened?
I went to look.
We were Skyping, and she went to look for it, and she's like getting that look on her face was getting more and more dire, and I'm like, "What's the matter? What's going on?" No, wait a minute. I'm looking. Wait a minute. I have to. It's got to be here. It's got to be here somewhere.
It was there.
How long ago was this?
And it was gone.
How long ago was this?
That was probably last summer. It was last summer.
Was it the summer?
Because I was away. I was at the Cape.
Oh, and you couldn't find it?
And I couldn't find it. And it was just gone. And I have bits and pieces of it, of things that I had sent him or Word documents that I had copied to and from. I think I have about maybe half the list, if I'm lucky. But this idea was still in existence. Like this one we remembered.
Well,
and was holding on by his nails.
I think I might have even saved it in my computer as a document.
Yeah.
Because I had been doing something. Like I remember one Saturday morning I woke up.
Yeah. And
I just had a lot of this idea had just filled in the blanks while I was sleeping or something.
Right.
And I remember even sending her did I send it in a text or I sent it in an email? I think it might have been an email where I said, "What do you think of this?"
Yeah.
And that was way before we had a home for it.
So we'll commiserate about this later for sure. But okay, so you reached into this document and you pulled out a plum.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in that document.
Yeah.
That the germs that you're like, that's it. That's it right there. That's it.
So you pull this out and
after
I was away at the time, and he was sitting in his office. We had finished all of our comic scripts. This was last year, and I was away, and we text every day. And I'm gonna put something together for that. See if we can get something going with Bad Handbooks. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And so we Skyped a couple of times while I was away, and we talked and looked at everything. But he's the master plotter of.
I wondered who the master plotter was. I've heard so much about him. Yes.
and you
I struggle a little bit with like big picture things.
With the string, got you.
Yeah, much better, I think, with like detail. I'm very detail oriented. And sometimes I have a hard time seeing a big picture. And so in that respect, he's like 1,000 steps faster and better than I am with that kind of stuff. And he's very good at plotting. He just really is. But I think I'm passable at the little things, like nuances of a character, like how they would talk or how they would walk or that kind of thing. So he pretty much plotted, I think, just about the whole.
Yeah, I pretty much plotted out the whole novella. And it's funny too, because I think as I was doing that, were you doing it as a response to Tom Brown at that point?
Just to Tom Brown.
Yeah, Tom Brown was the art, like we mentioned, he was the artist.
Right. England.
Funny, when he first emailed me, he was, would you write a novella so I could draw some pictures?
Yeah, pretty much that's what it was.
And I was like, oh boy. Yeah, I think. And that's pretty much where like the gears started turning.
Yeah.
And when we finished plotting it out, I sent it to him.
Sent it to him like Christmas Eve.
And I was like, "What do you like this? Is this something that you could?
What you think?
Could you draw something based on this?" And he was like, "Oh my God, I love this."
Yeah. And then he sent it over to Doug Morano at Bad Handbooks, and I think he called us back or emailed us back within a week or so and said, "Yeah, Doug wants to do this," and we were like, "What?" We were shocked because that was like the fastest turnaround.
It was like no question at all. He was like, "Yeah, we're doing this." So that was nice.
And then did they leave you alone to write it out, or did they do like, yes, but we want it to be?
No.
Can it be an African-American soldier of fortune from the 30s?
No. The only thing he said was, "You think you could do more with this character?"
Yes.
And yeah.
So you negotiated, got that taken care of. Is this also creator owned?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a contract for more than this novella?
No, I think does it say in the contract that could?
I don't think it's.
Did we read it? I don't remember.
I might have read it,
but there's so many. No.
I
feel like there is a clause in there that says something about like potential for others.
Okay.
Or one in a series.
You might be right. You might be right.
Yeah.
You might be giants.
But of course now we're taking those ideas down. I'm actually writing those down and not deleting that document.
Not yet.
I'm gonna pitch Alex in front of you so I don't get beaten. Alex, I would love to get a panel where we just talk about contracts, things to look out for, things that are okay. This is a sign that you're working with good people. This is a red flag. I'd like to do that sometime. So maybe we'll get you two if you're interested.
Let's talk and put it on the calendar.
Not one of my strong suits.
Then you have great stories about, this happened.
I usually let somebody who knows.
That's a great bit of advice.
Yeah.
I remember I wasn't involved. This is just reading it third or fourth hand. But Brian Keene got his first contract at a con. And I forget the name of the author, but he said, "Come here," at the bar. "Come here." And he red inked it and gave everybody here and really helped him with a lot of things to watch out for. So I always is in the back of my mind to have someone who knows better.
Chris Golden is my Golden is my
Chris Golden, there you go.
Yeah, he's your contract man.
That's beautiful.
He's the contractor. Chris Golden is
so hopefully we'll get to do that as a panel. I do have one last question.
Okay, because we're
running out of time, so we're probably short, but we talked about Soultaker. from Mad Cave Studios, and we talked about Vampirella Dark Reflections from Dynamite Entertainment, and Nira, a novella coming from Bad Handbooks. And the common denominator is that they're all female. Is there a reason?
I think Tom just realized.
A lot of the times this stuff goes like right over my head. I wrote one of the books that I wrote, I wrote sequels to Bone. I wrote novels that were sequels to Jeff Smith's Bone.
Yeah.
One of the main characters of the story was Tom. Now people kept saying to me, "Hey, what? I can't believe you named the character Tom." And I kind of stopped. I had no idea. I made absolutely no connection between that character having the same name as me. None.
This is the secret of your ownership.
Make sure he gets his nap in.
That's the secret of the partnership, is that one's more detail oriented, one's big picture.
I was like shocked when it was presented to me. Are you trying to trick me? And I was like,
absent-minded professor. I love it.
Character's name.
Well, it goes deep into the writing. That's cool.
Didn't even think of that.
So yeah,
again,
the three current are all women.
The question, yeah,
all women.
I think a lot of that comes from the fact that when we reconnected, my mother was still alive, and my mother died at 95, I think, 93 or 95.
Sorry for your loss.
And
great
like
run.
I dealt with her being in a facility and all of that. And Tom's mom is elderly and lives in elderly housing. And a lot of our conversations, like my mother had like some traumas happen, and his mom has had some things happen. And it's just, I don't know. And I think the older we get, the more we're interested in how old people work and think and survive. And I think that, for me anyway, that's where a lot of these characters come from. Not Vampirella, of course, but
for Lilith.
And I have, that's definitely true. But I have a history of writing females.
Okay.
With Vampirella, I wrote Buffy. So I'm not uncomfortable
Panther,
with,
I think,
yeah.
I'm in touch with your feminine.
Panther. I'm in touch with my feminine side.
There you go.
That's been for a while.
Yeah.
I wrote Buffy stuff
years ago, but that's great.
I wrote Nancy Drew.
I love Nancy Drew.
I was rather fond of. So we've covered quite a bit here. Once again, thank you for all this. It's literally thank you for bringing us the good news about Soultaker, and congratulations on that. Jeannine just hit the team at just the right time. You caused the team, you're part of the team, but the timing was really great, because in 4 years, you guys have done a lot of stuff.
We've done a lot. Yeah. And honestly, without her, I probably wouldn't have done half of that.
Yeah,
write that down, Jeannine. Write that down.
Right?
Okay.
We have this on tape.
So
you tried.
You got
this was the moment where he confirmed what the secret ingredients.
So you've got the new series coming out. Thank you, Chris, for running that list. You've got Soultaker coming out
from Mad Cave.
Right. You got Vampirella with
Dark Reflections.
Lilith in that one.
That's from Dynamite.
Yeah, from Dynamite. And now you have Nira.
Bad Handbooks.
Bad Handbooks, novella. Yeah.
So
I think I have a T-shirt coming from Bad Handbooks. That's how much of a fan I am.
Oh, is that the one with the guy with the top hat in the hand?
Yeah.
I think I
ordered that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that. Okay.
Awesome.
So my question is, what's next?
Wow.
We have a project that we're working on right now that we can't talk about.
I heard that one before.
Last time we talked, I gave you the title, though.
Right. Yeah. Alex, I'm going to leak it to you. Okay. They have these two characters, Alexandra and Christina. And
they're detectives.
Yeah.
And they're media personalities.
What was the title that you gave us last time?
I can't tell it yet.
Okay. All right. That's right.
I gave it to you off camera.
In the green room, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the green room later.
Alexandra and Christina. There you go.
Okay, so obviously you got to come back and talk to us again, because Lord knows we seem to enjoy that sort of thing. Yeah. And you always have good stuff to share.
Always fun. Yeah.
Hopefully soon, not another year goes by. but it'll take a while for them to announce it.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Yeah, for that one, I don't know when they're
Yeah.
gonna announce
Yeah.
that.
We'll see. We have to get back in touch with you in June when Vampirella hits,
Yeah.
and July when Soultaker hits. And when is Nira coming out? That's 2025, I think.
Quarter of 2025, so
So
early.
we have a little time to do that. So we'll
So
see
we
each
can
other
we
a
can
couple of
talk
times.
to you once again, like it'll be the third time this year when around the holidays, because I'm sure you'll be able to talk about stuff that's going to be happening in 2025.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
There
That's
you go.
beautiful.
So just keep on coming back.
we will. We can come on and talk about our second San Diego experience,
Ah, yes. That's coming up, huh?
July.
July.
I've never done San Diego.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's so much better than the other place.
Oh, what,
Oh,
New
New York
York?
Comic-Con?
So
Yeah.
you said it, I didn't.
I like that one too.
No, I enjoy San Diego so much more. It's a funny thing, and this is me being bitter, but I get treated better at San Diego than I do at New York.
We don't get treated for nothing.
Yeah,
New York's horrible.
nobody.
I don't even expect to be treated good, so maybe I'm not disappointed because I'm not expecting it.
Yeah, New York got too crowded.
Yeah.
I feel like Yogi Berra. Don't go. No one goes there. It's too crowded. But you really couldn't. Last time I went
No.
with my son, you just couldn't move, and you couldn't. It was hard to stop and see stuff, and they had expanded as far as they could. When you're too big for the Javits Center, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is interesting. So again, promise you'll be back, folks.
back.
We'll give you more, much
Definitely.
more and more, especially if you do what Chris often says.
Hit like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen,
There you go. There you go.
and then get out there and tell your own damn story.
Take care, you two.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, peace. Thanks again. Congratulations, by the way.